My name is Rabia Erduman, and I would like to introduce myself today and my book, Veils of Separation. I would like to share a little bit about my life and my purpose, my mission with you. I was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and spent most of my life there, and also spent 10 years in Germany. I am a psychologist from Germany, and I'm a transpersonal hypnotherapist, a reiki master, and a craniosacral therapist. Let me tell you a little bit more about that subconscious mind. From the time we're born to the time we're 4, 5, 6 years old, as the child, we're looking at what strategies, behavior, mechanisms are going to work the best to get our life, our survival happening, because we're helpless little beings, as you know. So by the time we're 4, 5, 6 years old, the subconscious mind, 90% of the mind, gets into certain behavior patterns. This is going to work the best for this family. So those behavior patterns translate very often into negative belief systems. Something is wrong about me, that's why I have to be a good girl. Or something is wrong about me, that's why I have to really be the victim and collapse, or I have to be the judge and judge myself, conditioning like that. Or the rebel and defy authority to survive in any way. That's why I wrote my book, Veils of Separation, Finding the Face of Oneness. My book is about how the subconscious mind gets stuck in the negative belief system around 4, 5, 6 years of age, and then how we can actually support our subconscious, seen also as the inner child, as the wounded child, as we call him or her, to allow for change to happen, for healing, for transformation of the old traumas. So my book is about that. It's a fairy tale of my own healing journey in my life. And I wrote it in the fairy tale form because the subconscious gets the fairy tale into a much deeper state. A fairy tale accesses a much deeper transformation in the subconscious mind. So my book's message is change is possible. We can shift our old negative belief systems and choose a joyful, delightful life today.
So I read Rabia Erduman's book, Veils of Separation, and it was a delightful fantasy. The characters are so wonderful. But I also learned a lot from it. I had never read any books about human development, and I found it very helpful in terms of integrating all my aspects, and I really gained a lot of insight as to how I've developed and what I need to work on and how to work on it. So I found it very useful.
I'd like to share with you a little bit about my own history. I was born almost dead, very traumatic birth and childhood. I was a sickly child. You name a disease, I got it. And stuttered for 10 years of my life, nervousness, took Valium for 10 years. I was known as a nervous child. And then at the age of 19, had a stomach surgery, hiatal hernia. Then we went back to college to Germany, and a year or two later, the symptoms came back. It got my attention. I remember then asking to myself, somehow, is there any way that I could avoid a second surgery? That's what got me into exploring. I found meditation, some wonderful teachers and mentors and trainings. That's what made me become a hypnotherapist. and a craniosacral therapist to really explore healing, and the emotional clearing allows us to then not continue with the adding on old patterns, old negative beliefs when they add on to our bodies and nervous systems. Illnesses and more unhappiness happen as years pass in our lives. So my own experience taught me we don't have to stay stuck. We can make the choice as adults to change our life, to transform our patterns, so we can live a joyful life. In the middle of writing my book, I had this totally unexpected vision one day that it would make a great movie. Partial animation, partial real people, just like Lord of the Rings. That was the image, the sense that came. And since then, I know that Narnia, Aragon, different movies of this style have come out. This wonderful spiritual messages, this healing journeys in that kind of a fairy tale form.
Don't let the enchanting fairy tale format fool you. This is a book of supreme insight into the nature of our mind and the path of self-discovery and personal power. Don Panek, publisher, Treasure Bay Books.
My vision for my book to be a movie was confirmed by many readers also, who would come to me and say they would love to see this in a movie because the fairy tale form is so transformative. They could see somebody watching the movie without even knowing what's happening, would really undergo this huge transformation of their life, being able to shift into a more happy, joyful state.
Veils of Separation is an adventure story of the heart. As you wander with Babla on her search for clarity and understanding, you will shed light on your own journey as well. If you are drawn to discover your personal truth, this book will be an enchanting companion along the way. Lynn Z. Foster, counselor and educator.
So I really feel like this would be a beautiful thing, and also the healer part of me would like to reach more people through the movie.
I have read your materials and like them very much. I believe you have succeeded in showing how a personal memoir can be expressed in archetypal terms, and you do it in a very original and entertaining way. I also like your CD and find it a good combination of relaxation and learning to use one's body as a resource, not just as a storehouse of tensions. So good luck in taking the steps to get your important and valuable info out there in the world that needs it. David Rico, author of How to Be an Adult.
I love going to movies and watching wonderful ones, and so if you know of anyone, either if you're yourself in the movie industry or if you know of someone who is, I would love to have some contacts for my book to be made into a movie. I would love to see that happen. And my website is right here. You can contact me through my website. Thank you.
Rabia Erduman-Veils of Separation paints remarkably compelling characters into a richly thought-provoking psychological landscape. Erduman's work offers great value to an amazingly broad demographic, and the inspirational, original, captivating world she creates lends itself perfectly to development as a television project or in the fantasy film genre. Matthew T. Bennett, author, founder, and president, BTD Enterprises, Los Angeles.
Thank you for your time, and I wish you a wonderful journey in your life. In closing, I would like to read one of my favorite quotes. It is from Howard Thurman. Don't worry about what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and do that. Because what the world needs are people who have come alive.